Welcome to the show, everyone. Boy, monsoon season is like right here, and I have the perfect person with me right now on. I have with me Theresa Kiernan, and she's with DryLux Restoration. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show later on. Now, let me just say something. What we were talking about this, and first of all, I want you to know how cute she is, because now, if you put in Networking Arizona into Facebook, you're going to see us live in here doing this show. And Theresa literally writes it all out for me. I got my little intro here. And I mean, she said, good morning, everybody, but she meant good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's Theresa with DryLux Restoration, and she's so excited to be here with Carol today. With monsoon season already making its entrance, we want to make sure you know what to look out for. When it's time to give us a call us before small problems become big disasters. And that is true. That is exactly what we're going to talk about today. Welcome back to the show. Get right on top of that mic and turn that up so I can hear her a little bit better there. And I want you to tell everybody, first of all, about DryLux. I want them to hear first about how long they've been around and how they're a reputable company. And if you like the color blue, you're going to love looking in here because we got blue everywhere with a little pink.
And you're going to see a lot of blue. Absolutely. And
so tell us a little bit about you're welcome.
So now DryLux is family owned and operated and has been around for 18 years now, located in Gilbert, Arizona. It's a great company. I absolutely love the team. I love the technicians. We are very on spot 24/7. We are very dedicated to the customers. Especially when you do have an emergency, we are there. We can be there within 90 minutes, which is great. We will actually come out and treat you as if you're a family member, because you are.
We've got a fire going on right now.
There's something
siren out there.
You know, it's when you have a disaster in your home, whether it's water, you know, it could be flood, fire, you know, anything, biohazard, whatever the case may be, we understand and we are there for you. With DryLux, we do bring that compassion to you. We are, like I said, 24/7. We give free quotes and estimates, so we're not going to come in and just, you know, tear something up. We're going to go in, walk you through it, let you know what is going on, what you need to do, and go from there. We are going to help you, you know, take that small problem in some cases, hopefully it's not a large one, and, you know, help you before it does turn into a bigger problem and, you know, a disaster.
They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They bring you quality and experience. They're both residential and commercial, and they want you to have this number in their phone. Now, there's two numbers that we're going to be giving out, okay? One is the 602-881-1398. Theresa also has her direct line for people to also call her, because a lot of people call with questions, and you like to help people with kind of, you know, helping them with that and directing them and helping them with things that they may need help with.
Correct, right. Like we had a call, for instance, somebody had called after our show, the last show, and we did go out there because there were some issues, and it turned out that they had a cracked tile. They needed a roofer. So in this case, you know, we are always there to help also, you know, because we are not a roofing company, but we will also help you with one of the partners, you know, the referral partners that we do work with, because we want to keep the wheel going. So we're going to, you know, refer you to somebody and recommend somebody that you also can trust for that other, you know, portion of what you're going to need done.
Teresa's number is 480-750-8220. It's extension 220. And you can check them out on their website. It's drylux.com, and put that number in your phone under you know, reputable restoration company. Now, when you talk about having a crack in a tile on your roof, here's the problem. With monsoon season around the corner right now, it's not the crack that's the problem.
Correct.
It's the water that goes into the crack, that goes down into the ceiling, and now you got an issue.
Right, and it could be sitting for a while. You know, we might get little, you know, drizzles here and there, but monsoon is really going to activate that to where water will find a way. So you might not notice it, you know, when in January, you know, when we have that little rain, or, you know, like I said, we get little specks here and there. But once monsoon does come around, you're gonna see this a lot faster, a lot quicker. And that's also gonna go along with, you know, certain type of plumbing. You know, if you have an immediate flood, somebody might think that
Pipe
it's
burst.
a pipe burst, and in some cases, you know, it could be, it might not be, it could be something that's clogged when it comes to a clogged gutter or drain, because it hasn't been cleaned out. So all of these things, when it comes to monsoon, can be ignited.
So let me tell you what she has.
And that's what's gonna cause
I'm gonna
issues.
interrupt you for a second. She's got the Fast Five. The Fast Five are this. First of all, they're the top signs something wrong is happening after a storm. Bubbling or sagging drywall, number one. Number two is discolored spots on ceiling or walls. Floors that feel soft or spongy, okay? Musty or damp odors. A sudden increase in allergies. And that's not just with you folks, it's with your dogs as
It's
well,
with
your pets.
Right, your pets too. Your pets also can give that off. And also with the smell, water. If you do not have a dog and you have like that wet dog smell,
You got a problem.
You have an issue, right? Because it's that is another sign as well.
And a lot of people do this. I mean, obviously when something is all wet and the water is just everywhere, you know you got a problem, right? Now, what happens though when you say some people, they put things off. They see it, they kind of smell it, they're not so sure, they kind of put it off because people are procrastinators, we know that, right?
That's
Now,
right.
all of a sudden, you've got an issue, maybe even something that's now been there. You explained to what happened with you. You had an issue where not only was it in your bathroom, because you waited, because you weren't sure, I mean, literally, it went into 3 other rooms.
Because you let it go, right? And it's you know, mold can actually start, you know, it's gonna really start building 24 to 48 hours, especially with this heat. So if you take that over time because you're ignoring that issue, like I did, you know, you have a bigger mess in your hands, you have a bigger disaster, you know, and it's preventing the damage, you know, is better than repairing it. So it's, you have to pay attention, you know, be really adherent on what you are noticing in your home.
Now,
what
the
you're
other thing that we
smelling.
have to talk about all the time,
Biohazard.
well, no, I would love to talk about biohazard, you know that.
Carol likes
But
biohazard.
I do, but I will tell you, this is something that's really important. Because insurance, and you've been working,
Yes.
you've worked for big companies for years, I mean, and so she knows a lot about that insurance, she's still licensed as an insurance agent, and she knows what the steps are. When it comes to flood, when you make that phone call, water is a disaster, to call them as
Yes.
well, because they're gonna start a
Claim.
thank you, with you right away. What she has said since the day that she's come on this show is that you need to have somebody come out and do a little bit of do that estimate for you and find out how much is that really gonna cost you. Because if it costs you, and most likely it will,
Right.
less than your deductible, it makes sense to have it done properly by a restoration company and not calling your insurance company.
Correct, and we did have a client that did call, and her exact words to me were, please, I do not want to file this with my insurance company. I had a water claim years ago. I want to pay for this out of pocket. And that's a huge thing when it comes to the customer. So yes, call for that, you know, get us out there. The estimates are free for us to come out and look at it.
That number to call is 602-881-1398, 8+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. You should also call her direct at 480-750-8220, extension 220. Check them out on their website. It's DryLux.com, and let's be prepared. Hang tight, we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we're gonna still go on because we're live in here, okay? We're live still in the room.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah.
Yeah. So, good there, right? Now,
yeah,
I wanted
that
to
was
talk
great.
about, okay, we did this here, what to do,
Or this is what I wanna, I wanna kinda go into that.
okay?
Because what happens is, if there's a plumber that is on call, or, you know, that, plumbers and HVACs cannot cut into walls, so that's where they say, hey, we need a, you know,
Oh,
we'll reach
okay,
out,
okay.
so that's where they kinda tie in,
Okay.
you know, so they will many times call us.
Okay.
And then we will come out, to where.
Now, what's this fan thing? Fans, sometimes in
In
cases.
cases, when it comes to a dry out, I know a lot of folks,
Oh,
they're
okay.
like, oh my God, I had, 5 or 6 fans in my house.
Trying and doing it themselves.
Yeah, they
Don't.
It's, you don't wanna do it themselves, but when you have to cut, drywall, when you have to go up 3 feet and everything's saturated, you have to pull all that out, but in order to fix it properly, you have to dry it out. You cannot just pull up the drywall and say, okay, we're just gonna throw it up there, whether
Right.
everything's properly dried out or not.
Right,
because
and the reason why-
that's gonna just incubate, have the mold incubate.
Right, it's like
just gonna-
having
You're
a-
making it worse.
It's like having like
It can spread.
what?
It can spread.
It can spread. Well, let me tell you, I know people that they'll paint over something, right? And they don't know
Yes.
that behind that paint, it looks good on the outside, but on the inside it's rotting. And all of a sudden it just falls.
Or we can talk about, oh, I cleaned it all with bleach and it's gone. And then guess what? It shows up 2 or 3 weeks later because all you did was mask it. It's like taking a cut. You're putting a Band-Aid on it, but
Mhm.
it's your constant, you're ripping off that Band-Aid, so you're agitating it every time you do it because it's not properly taken care of.
Okay.
And that's basically, you're going into that same thing. We bring in the fans, you have to do a proper dry out, so it is cleaned up and
Properly.
treated properly
Mhm.
to make sure you don't want it to happen again.
Well, your fan's gotta be a lot different than my fan.
Yeah, and
My little
unfortunately,
dinky
and they're
fan.
like this, and then of course we have other ones too. But depending on how much water damage there is and how many rooms, you can have 10 fans. You could have, if you have a big home and you have a lot of damage, which I've seen before, you could have 15 fans going. It needs to be properly dried out. You can't just go to Home Depot and say, oh, I'm just gonna buy a big fan. and
Right, a
leave it
lot of
up.
people try to do that themselves, I'm
Right.
sure, especially when they have to wait, and that's another reason why 90 minutes is awesome. That's a great website, 90 minutes is awesome.
90 minutes is awesome, it actually is.
It actually is. Here we go. So welcome back. We talked so much during the break here on Facebook and everything, and I learned so much. One of the things that we wanted to talk a little bit about with everybody, when it comes to doing things on your own, and a lot of people do, they like to, or they want to jump on it. They wanna
DIY.
and one thing that's really cool is that we just said that 90 minutes, this is what takes them to get there, 90 minutes. So they will be there, DryLux will come out and they will give you a free estimate. And if you need to have that dried out, you need to make sure that you don't just do it yourself with your dinky fans. There's no way, you need to have the proper equipment.
Right, you do, and basically, like I was telling Carol, if, in the event that you do have mold, there is water saturation, that affected area needs to be cleaned out properly. Like I said, it's like a wound. You need to clean out that wound and make sure it's cared for properly to make sure it does not come back and get infected. So when there's water damage, say if, you have 3 feet that has to be cut out, fans have to go up, because think about what you have in a wall. You have wood,
Termites.
you have, some people do unfortunately, and, but yeah, so it's termites could damage the wood, but you gotta think of everything that ties into a wall. If you were to knock out a wall, what is inside that wall?
Well, isn't
And when
there
you have multiple
insulation and all sorts of things?
Insulation, yeah, and plus now, with the new home builds, I believe they use the foam insulation, right? Guys, don't they? Yeah, so think about it. All this has to be taken out. It has to be dried out. Any insulation that's in it, think about how quickly a sponge will soak up water. All of that has to be taken out. And guess what? If you're not up to code, you're gonna have to replace it, which is what should be done. But you have to do it the right way. It has to be treated correctly to make sure it does not come back, because everybody needs to be safe. Then you think about ventilation. You don't want this ventilating through your home, having mold, having that.
You might have to move out.
There's just so many things that really do have to be taken care of properly when it comes to restoration, when it comes to having mold, in your home. So a lot of folks, I know I do hear, oh my gosh, I had, so many fans and it was so loud and they were all over. Well, you do need the fans to dry it out properly. It does need to go through steps in order to make sure that that restoration cleanup has been taken care of properly.
They're both residential and commercial. They bring you quality and experience. They also are there in 90 minutes, and they're 24/7. They've been around here for 18 years, and what they want is for you to think of their blue and to call DryLux, which is 602-881-1398 if you're having an issue. They're located in Gilbert, but they are statewide, and so they're trying to get the word out to help everybody when it comes to restoration services. Again, that number is 602-881-1398. You can also call Theresa, and Theresa will answer any of your questions. A lot of people do have a lot of questions, and she likes to kind of help you, direct you, maybe even refer you to people that if you need help. Again, her number is 480-750-8220, extension 220. Check them out on the website. It's DryLux.com. And put the number in your phone, because that's the most important thing, is when you look at what do you think people do? They go up onto Google.
They'll Google.
And the first thing that comes up, they're gonna call.
Yeah, and that's customary, that's normal. You know, back in the day, it was a phone book, now it's Google, or even asking somebody that you know, social media is a huge thing too. I always reply back, hey, do you know somebody, I was just telling Carol about this. So you might always know somebody, but yeah, save the number, we're there, the estimates are free,
It makes sense.
even if you need a second opinion, we will come out and do that for you and assess to make sure it is done properly the right way.
And the other thing is, make sure that you do call them first. Everybody thinks to call their insurance company first,
Right.
and when it comes to flooding, for sure, that starts a claim immediately. And if you have a claim, what do you think happens? Your
Yeah.
insurance goes up.
And then if you do call your insurance company first, we will also work with your insurance company to walk through that claims process, so, we have that mitigation, as well. So we are there for both sides, we are there to help. We do care about you as if you are our own family, so.
Because when
it's
something
start to
happens,
finish.
it's the worst.
It is,
Right?
it's you personally, and now, you have somebody invading your space. So it is something that it can be unexpected. You might have a leak and a plumber might come out, and to where the plumber says, hey, there is, under the sinks are huge, where there's leaks. And, I'll get a couple calls and they say, hey, we plugged the soft bulb, but they have a lot of damage. You don't really realize if something's leaking under your sink, the water dripping, if it's not taken care of, and you don't really catch it because you have thousands of things shoved under there like I do, you have warped boards that could go down into your cabinets, go down into, depending on what you have underneath there. I mean, there can be a lot of damage because water finds a way.
Right, and here's the thing, we're talking monsoon season, right? It's right here, it's right now. But water is water, and water is behind, you've got pipes. I remember we had a home that had a pipe behind, it was a bar that had a kitchenette kind of thing in there.
Yep.
And of course, the pipe burst, and what do you think happened? It was all over the
It
floor, it
will,
was a
and with
mess.
monsoon, if you have a backup, this can happen so quickly,
Mhm.
and you don't realize what's going on. So they all tie in.
Right, and fire is another one. We've had, even when people have had damage from, even hail, even during monsoon season, we've had it up in northern, the Arizona, where
Right.
I've seen it happen. It's just been insane of things that can happen, and you never know when it's gonna happen. And one thing about Theresa is, well, she's worked with the insurance companies, and you've been in the insurance field for how long? I
24
mean,
years.
like 24 years.
Right.
So she knows what they look for. You think they're on your side, but sometimes they're not. And the best thing is to really just have a reputable company come out and have them do a estimate. It's free to you for them to do that, and then at least you'll know. And if it's below your deductible, then you're gonna have to do it. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to pay out of your pocket.
Absolutely.
Right, it does, and that's, the quotes are free. Some people, that is the immediate trigger. I need to call the insurance company, to where, like Carol said, once they answer that phone and they get that, I mean, that's already started, so, and it's a very, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's fact. whether it's, you know, you have the home, it can
It's
adjust
part
to
of-
rates, there's companies that do not like it, you might, you know, not be qualified to obtain insurance from a certain company because of water claims. So
So
you
it-
just need to be careful, don't always jump in, oh my God, I'm gonna file a water claim.
Right, but main thing is to have them come out and have them do that. It's free estimate for you to find out how much is it gonna be, you know, cost me. Then you'll know, you can obviously know your deductible, you'll know right away what to do. They're located in Gilbert, but they work statewide. They've been around for 18 years, and right now they are yelling at everybody for them to hear that DryLux is there to help you when you are in need. And that's what they do. They bring you quality, they bring you experience. They work both residential and commercial. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They do these free estimates, and they're 24/7, and they said 90 minutes.
90 minutes, yeah, and depending on where you live, sometimes it'll be faster. And then too, I wanna point out, if I can, which we will, do we got time?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
So for storm prep, I was talking to Carol about this during the break, around your windows, and I just coordinating with a window cleaning company that I know, you know, he had made the comment about the molding around the windows. If you go around and check your windows, you know, some folks, I don't need them, but seriously check. If you have cracks in those, and if we get heavy rains, that water again can go through those cracks, go into your walls, and guess what? You know,
You
it's
gotta
like,
plan.
you gotta watch, you have to plan, so these are things, make sure you're checking your window seals, your door sweeps, clean out your gutters and downspouts, know always where your main water shutoff is and your electric.
And you know what, here's the thing, is about being prepared. We know this season is here, it happens every summer, and it usually something can happen, and when it does, it's not a surprise, it's just, oh darn, now what do I do, right?
And even though you might think you know,
Right.
you just panic at that minute, you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do?
Right,
Yeah.
and a lot of
Right,
people
right.
do. Main thing is that you know that you have a number that you can call, and that you have Theresa here that can answer. If you have any, maybe even somebody that you wanna, if it turns out to be just your roof, they have people that they can refer you to. That's what they're all about, is helping people no matter what. Again, and the other thing that I do wanna mention, which I'm just seeing here that I forgot that I wrote down, is they do also work with mobile homes and manufactured homes. That's another thing, because those guys, every season, it seems like, you know, you hear about them.
Yes.
And fires as well, big
Right.
time.
Right.
So call them, put this number in your phone, it's 602-881-1398. If you wanna talk directly to Theresa, she's just a doll. Her phone number is 480-750-8220, extension 220. Check them out on their website, it's drylux.com.